Welcome to the Business Chaser, your quick pour of strategy, clarity, and momentum. We skip the small talk and get straight to the strategy here in these bite-sized episodes. We're here to help you grow smarter, market better, and chase what matters, all in 15 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lauren Najar. Tune in and let's chat.
Hi, friends. I am Melissa Griffin, and I'm here to give you a peek at our bold strategy and life inside Indigo Ink Interiors. I'm Melissa Griffin. I am the founder of Indigo Ink Interiors, which is a new shift in our business title and focus. I am an interior designer and the creative director behind our studio. And I am a pretty things fanatic. Anything that's artistic, colorful, creative, anything pretty. I am a fanatic of that. So let's get into it. Today, I wanted to talk about no job is too small. So if you've ever thought, I'd love to hire an interior designer, but I don't have $1 million, or my project's probably too small for you. I hear that all the time, and this is for you. So let's start with that. That is the myth I hear all the time. I will run into people in a networking event or at dinner or something and tell them who I am and what I do. And people will often say, oh, when I win the lottery, I want to hire you. Or I want to, if I had so much more money, when I save up, I want to hire an interior designer. This project probably is too small for you. I just have a guest bedroom, or I just need help picking out a few finishes. I've heard all of that before, and I tell people two things. One, everybody has a budget, and two, design isn't about the square footage, it's about the impact. And small spaces often need the most help. Working with a professional can help eliminate mistakes, unforeseen conflicts, and save you money in the long run. So, if you're just tackling a powder room, say, or an entryway, tile has a million little tiny decisions that you can make that helps either make it go right or be a Pinterest fail. You might have the vision in your mind of what you want to accomplish, but you don't really realize just how many decisions a designer is making behind the scenes in a full service offering, which is sort of the meat of our business, handling everything from the design through ordering materials and executing it, making sure that your contractor carries it out in the way we planned and described for them, and making sure that happens. And we handle the problems behind the scenes if something comes up, which it always will. So be prepared. Just things go wrong. Unforeseen things come up. So we help handle that and either take care of it before you even knew there was an issue, or come up with a solution and bring that best solution to you to make sure you're on board. But we want to make sure we can be efficient. So there are times where there's clients who aren't really ready or don't have the desire to have a designer. Work with them from start to finish. They want to do it themselves, but maybe you could use some help pulling those materials together or making some of those decisions. Like I said, just on tile alone, there's, what direction are you going to put it? What kind of finish are you going to put on the tile? What edge pieces are you going to use? What direction will it go? What grout color you want to use? All of this. There's so many things that can impact your decisions and your final design. So you can work with us. So that's one thing we saw missing for some clients. Having what we're calling the design lab is sort of that in between. And that could be a good way for you, whether it's with us or someone else, is to get like a consultation, which can be just an hour or 2 hours, or we're offering a little bit more. We can, purchase a block of time and then book 1 or 2 hours at a time until you use up your hours. So where we can work through some of those things, whether you want to pick paint and wallpaper and tile and make sure it's all going to work together. And then what kind of finish on your hardware do you want to pick? We can help with all those decisions. And For some clients, they didn't realize just how many decisions there were going to be, asked us to help on a mudroom as part of this larger remodel, but just working out the details of the mudroom helped them realize we can make this function better, and it makes your whole house feel calmer because you are set up with great function and functionality that helps affect the whole house and the whole space beyond that. And that is like one area we can help you with, but working with a professional to help make some of those decisions, even if you're going to be the one executing it or you're going to work with your contractor. Some people have a brother who's a contractor, but somebody's still got to pick out all those parts. Otherwise, it's the contractor picking out those parts. So you can get overwhelmed by all the decisions. And a little secret is most people don't want to be their own general contractor or the creative director or the decision maker of 500 tiny choices, but they want to make sure their vision is going to come to life in the way that they're actually thinking. Help filter out some of the noise. There's endless decisions you could make, but we can help you narrow it down to here's 3 to choose from. Let's go with one of these 3. So we can filter out all of the excess. And people want a second opinion from someone who knows what they're talking about. So working with us or another interior designer to help make those decisions when someone, is experienced in this is why I created the design lab. And so we do 10 hours of time. You can do an hour or 2 at a time. It's just like that. And that's not for full service clients. It's not totally DIY, but if you want to manage all of the work or that's what fits in your budget, we can still be the expert on your side. And it makes it flexible. It's approachable. It gives you an ROI on your emotional investment also, even on those small projects. So tackling, an entryway, you want it. When people come, most people come in maybe a back door of your own house. But when visitors come, they're coming in the front. And those are spaces that are often left unconsidered. Maybe they're not furnished or fully thought through. When you're thinking about your living room or your kitchen, some people leave these little spaces, the powder room, the entryway, the mud room, just there. We'll get to that later, but it really kind of sets the tone for your whole house and the whole experience when you have guests over. So it's okay to just tackle the entryway or just tackle a powder room. It's not too small. So you can work with a professional on, tackling just those small spaces as well. And maybe it's a way to test the waters of getting into a relationship as it is with an interior designer. It's a way to kind of test out, I think this is a good fit, but I don't know that I have the budget or the time or the desire to go in, on a remodeling my whole house or my whole, larger common spaces. This is a way to test out that relationship as well. And then you can move forward with that confidence that you really were seeking, and you have a partner on your side that helps you make those decisions. I also want to talk to the professionals, another business owner or designer who might be listening. This is the other side. Don't sleep on the small jobs. They are jobs that build trust, that give you referrals, that build your portfolio, and they often grow into bigger projects, we often have had clients that, think they're going to take on just this small scope of work. And then as we kind of get into that repertoire, have a good communication with each other, you can decide, while I'm in this, let's just do it at once. Let's just tackle that next room. Let's do the living room, or let's do this guest room I was putting off also that's just collecting junk. Let's actually make it a functional space that serves as a home office and guest room and kids' playroom, whatever. You can move into those. So sometimes these small spaces lead to bigger ones, whether it's at the same time or a year down the road. Sometimes we'll start with a paint consultation for someone, and, it's a 1-hour consult, pick some colors for a room, maybe match it to a wallpaper or flooring you've picked out. And a year later, maybe they're tackling the next space, and that's like the next job, and it just builds up for you. So you can, use this as a foot in the door. And sometimes it's literally a foot in the door. You're just getting, one tiny little space or even those consults, but it's a way to then build trust in the community, whether it's with that client, they refer you to someone else who might have a bigger project going on or getting ready to start and they're looking for someone. So all of it matters. So let's stop equating size with value. You can be deeply impactful even in a hallway, even in, that mudroom we talked about. The spaces are often afterthoughts and not fully considered, but they really impact the use and function of a home for that family. So if you have been holding off on working with a designer because you think your project is too small, I want you to hear this. Your home doesn't have to be perfect or massive or mid-reno. Hot tip, get the designer before you're mid-reno. You don't have to wait until then to deserve design help. We are there to get you unstuck, help you if you're overwhelmed or second guessing. You're exactly the kind of client we created the design lab for. And like I said, whether it's with us or another designer, there are services out there. There are different people who will be the right fit for you. So book a session, ask those questions. It's the time to get those questions out and make sure your thoughts are clarified in a cohesive way. So take that step, and the design is for you too. If you are curious whether you have a project that's a right fit, you can shoot me a DM, find me on Instagram at Indigo Ink Interiors, or check out more of our work on indigoinkinteriors.com on our portfolio. And we'd love to hear more. Bold choices don't need big square footage. They are not two pieces of the puzzle. You can make bold impact with a little courage and having the right guide.
That's your quick hit of clarity and momentum for the week. If it sparked something, share it with a friend or tag us in your stories at Business Over Cocktails and or at Lauren Najar. We love seeing what resonates. Don't forget, Mondays are for full-length episodes with rich conversations, and Fridays are the Business Chaser episodes. These are bite-sized insights pulled from our guests to keep you inspired and aligned throughout the week. Do you have a question or a takeaway? DM us at Business Over Cocktails. We just might feature it in a future episode. Cheers!